Jingquan Farmer, the great landowner who strikes back. Chapter 1 Hillside Accidents, Crossing Adventures. Han Chi was originally an urban white-collar worker, busy and stressed, and decided to go out to travel in the mountains to relax. Unexpectedly, in the depths of the forest, he accidentally encountered a poisonous snake and fell down the hill in a panic. When he woke up, he found that he had actually crossed into an honest man in the ancient countryside, named Hans Haiqiu. Is surrounded by such a poor living environment, there is a round wife Tong Tong and 3 thin girls living at home, as well as a large family of blood-sucking relatives, all of whom are pit dads. The only thing that comforted Hans Haiqiu a little was that he carried a mouthful of mysterious spiritual spring water with him, which could heal wounds and nourish plants, as if he was holding a golden key in his hand. Chapter 2 Lingquan Xianwei, the new situation of the farmer. Hans Haiqiu used the spiritual spring to water his family's crops, and in just a few days, the withered yellow fields were full of green, and the crops grew amazingly. The neighbors looked at him in amazement and began to look at him differently. However, the forces in the village were complicated, and the local landlord, Master Zhu, was dissatisfied with the sudden rise of the Han family and began to suppress it by all means. Although Tong Tong has a gentle personality, she hides her resilience, actively helps Hans Haiqiu take care of housework, and disciplines 3 well-behaved but fragile girls, trying to make the family harmonious. Chapter 3 Relatives Farce, Cheating Their Father. Instead of helping, the relatives of the Han family were abducted and deceived by the family, demanding the only food and belongings in the family. Some pretended to be sick and defaulted on labor, some stole farm tools and equipment, and even secretly colluded with Master Zhu in an attempt to make the Han family completely bankrupt. With the help of Lingquan, Hans Haiqiu began to deal with the chaos at home while actively planning to expand the industry, vowing to turn over and become a big landlord. Chapter 4 Agricultural Innovation and Expansion of Influence. With modern agricultural knowledge and the miraculous power of Lingquan, Hans Haiqiu has created a set of efficient farming models. He introduced crop rotation and mixed cropping to improve soil fertility, and also opened agricultural schools to teach neighboring farmers how to use new methods, gradually establishing his own sphere of influence. Seeing that the situation was not good, Master Zhu sent people to sabotage it secretly, but it was all resolved by Hans Haiqiu's wisdom, which made Master Zhu more and more jealous. Chapter 5 The people's hearts are turned back, and the power is contested. There was a rumor in the village, relatives began to split, some people took refuge in Hans Haiqiu, and some people continued to pit people. Hans Haiqiu not only has to face external enemies, but also has to balance the interests within the family, especially the youngest girl, Han Xiaoling, who is innocent and kind, but weak due to illness, has become his biggest concern. As his power grew, he also began to get involved in local officialdom and plan for a broader future. Chapter 6 Conspiracy and Betrayal. Master Zhu planned to unite with other landlords, intending to join forces to exterminate the Han family. At the critical moment, the most trusted relatives rebelled and betrayed Hans Haiqiu's secret spiritual spring land, allowing the enemy to take advantage of the situation. Hans Haiqiu and his family were forced to flee, but he used the special function of the spiritual spring to not only heal but also create new life. Chapter 7 Rebirth from the Ashes and Great Achievements. On the way to escape, Hans Haiqiu met a martyred scholar and like-minded farmers who had been bullied by Master Zhu. Together, they maximized the effectiveness of Lingquan and developed a chain of agricultural industries, eventually becoming the largest agricultural group in the neighborhood within a few years. The relatives of the former pit father were either reformed or eliminated, and Hans Haiqiu also became a veritable landowner from an ordinary peasant man. Chapter 8 Happy Farmer, Watch for the Future. At the end of the story, Hans Haikyu and his wife Tong Tong took 3 girls and lived a happy and stable life. The spiritual spring is still their treasure, but it is more of the future they have created with their diligence and wisdom. They have also become a model family respected in the township, and continue to guard the harmony of the land and the family. Chapter 9, The Dark Tide Rises, and Betrayal Comes. Hans Haikyu's agricultural career gradually flourished, and the neighbors in the village gradually respected this far-sighted and capable farmer. However, behind the calm waves, there is an undercurrent. Han Fanglu, a relative who has always seemed to be loyal, secretly communicated with Master Zhu and designed the secret of betraying Ling Chuan in an attempt to push Hans Haikyu to a desperate situation. One night, Hans Haikyu was awakened by the sudden sabotage, only to see that his own field had been maliciously destroyed, and the storage place of Ling Chuan had also been seriously damaged. Tong Tong cried when he saw this. Xiaoling's condition worsened, and Hans Haikyu's heart was cold, but it also aroused unprecedented fighting spirit. Chapter 10, Escape and Rebirth. Under the defection of relatives and the enemy, Hans Haikyu was forced to flee his home with his wife and children and 3 girls. Fleeing all the way, mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas, there are many hardships. But Hans Haikyu, relying on the miraculous effect of the spiritual spring and his extraordinary wisdom, first healed his injuries and then laid out, and got acquainted with the wandering scholar Shen Lixing and several like-minded farmers. They conspire for revenge and vow to take their homeland. Chapter 11 The Rise of the Alliance, a New Era in Agriculture. Hans Haikyu established an alliance to secretly share the water source of Ling Chuan with his allies, benefiting more poor farmers. They popularized scientific farming and gradually established an emerging force with agriculture as the core. Seeing this, Master Zhu secretly united with more main encirclement and suppression, but failed repeatedly, but was used by Hans Haikyu to divide and disintegrate people's hearts. Tong Tong has also transformed from a peasant woman to a right-hand man in agricultural management. Chapter 12 Love and Hate Entanglement, Emotional Rift. With a busy career and a lot of pressure, there was a misunderstanding and dispute between Hans Haikyu and Tong Tong. Xiaoling's recurring illness created a heavy atmosphere at home. At the same time, relatives who had betrayed in the past reappeared, in a vain attempt to sow discord and embarrass the two. But at the critical moment, the two resolved the misunderstanding and deepened their relationship. Chapter 13, The Decisive Battle in the Countryside, The Return of the King. At a life and death agricultural conference, Hans Haikyu and Master Zhu competed head-on. With the magical power of Ling Chuan and advanced agricultural technology, Hans Haikyu won the highest honor in the village in one fell swoop. Master Zhu was defeated and took Mei Cheng, and the former trader was also judged by justice. Hans Haikyu officially became a big landlord in the new era, leading the villagers to prosperity and health. Chapter 14 Watch the Future, Happy Farm. At the end of the story, Hans Haikyu and his family live and work in peace and contentment among the green fields. The spiritual spring is no longer a secret, but a treasure that all farmers guard. Tong Tong is gentle and accompanied, the 3 girls are thriving, and Hans Haikyu leads the farmers in his hometown to start a happy new life.